The latest, Gunman's Manifesto described his actions. The latest on shootings of 6 Baton Rouge police officers all times local: 4:25 p.m. The man who killed 3 Louisiana law enforcement officers purportedly described his actions as a necessary evil in a self-described manifesto that an Ohio man says was emailed to him by the gunman less than an hour before the shootings. The 3-page handwritten letter was signed by Cosmo, an alias used by Baton Rouge gunman Gavin Long. Photographs of it were attached to an email sent from an address that Long used. In the manifesto, Long said he expected people who knew him wouldn't believe he would commit such horrendous acts of violence. But he wrote that he viewed his actions as necessary to create substantial change within America's police force and judicial system. The Associated Press obtained a copy of the letter from Karama, the Ohio man who said he didn't know Long personally, but received several emails from him after Long began commenting on Karama's YouTube videos in March. Karama has described himself as a hip-hop artist and community activist. 4:15 p.m. Baton Rouge Mayor-President Kip Holden says he will ask the police department to look at changing protocol when officers respond to complaints involving weapons. Holden told the Associated Press on Wednesday that he would like to see a supervisor join patrol officers in responding to those calls. Holden is the middle of a chaotic time for Baton Rouge after 2 weeks of violence. Protests rocked the city following the July 5 death of a black man during a confrontation with 2 white police officers. On Sunday, 3 law enforcement officers were killed in an ambush by a lone gunman from Missouri. Holden said he was working with the Justice Department to develop new tools to improve relations between the police and the community. 2:15 p.m. The mayor of Baton Rouge has signed up to run for a congressional seat as his city is embroiled in the aftermath of a police shooting, protests and the slaying of 3 officers who were ambushed by a gunman. Kip Holden, the Democrat who is term-limited as mayor, qualified Wednesday for the 2nd District congressional race, challenging Democratic incumbent Cedric Richmond. The district is Louisiana's only majority-black district, representing New Orleans up the Mississippi River to part of Baton Rouge. Holden didn't speak much about his congressional campaign plans, saying his focus remains squarely on leading Baton Rouge, where 3 local law enforcement officers were shot and killed this week and 3 others were wounded by a black man who targeted police. The shootings came fewer than 2 weeks after a black man was shot and killed by white police officers, setting off a string of protests around the city. 7:45 a.m. The East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office announced on his Twitter site Wednesday the funeral arrangements for Deputy Brad Borofola. The Sheriff's Office says visitation will begin at noon Saturday at the Strauma Baptist Church. Services will start at 2 p.m. There will be no graveside service, but there will be a processional from the church to Grano's funeral home. The Sheriff's Office says the family requests that any flowers or arrangements be delivered to the church Saturday as the facility will not be open prior to that day. A multi-agency memorial service for the fallen officers and deputy is in the planning stages for later next week. Garofalo and two Baton Rouge police officers were shot and killed Sunday during an ambush. 2 a.m. Baton Rouge residents were honoring 3 slain officers while searching for ways to prevent more violence like the city has endured recently. Hundreds attended a rally Tuesday night supporting law enforcement officers at police headquarters, about a mile from where the officers were shot to death Sunday morning. Just down the street, on a corner across from the police station, Black activist Ray Del Norman and handful of supporters who have protested the police shooting of Alton Sterling held a smaller demonstration that included Black Lives Matter signs and forms for anyone who wanted to register to vote.